It is draft day, Broncos country, and we've got some final last-minute rumors to get to coming in from Adam Schefter and some buzz about who the pick could be for Denver in round number 1. Welcome into an at-home edition of the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, filming from my kitchen right before I go into the office because I know time is of the essence here, and I don't want to wait to get a video out. So let's jump right into it. As ESPN's Adam Schefter says the Broncos have been fielding calls for pick number 20. I've got two immediate reactions to this. One, this really could only come from one source, and that is the Broncos. So I think Denver wants everyone else to know, A, pick number 20 is for sale, B, there could be a bidding war, so if you're thinking a guy might fall to you a little bit later in round 1, I would think again, especially if you're looking for a quarterback, and you should jump up to 20 to get to your guy. Now, the reason why I think the Broncos could want to move back is I feel that the draft class this year has not a lot of like star-studded players towards the top. There's a lot of like good starters you're going to find in this draft. I don't think this is going to be a draft that we look back at in 10 or 15 years and go, wow, 2025 NFL draft had, 3 future Hall of Famers or 2 future Hall of Famers, and look at all those perennial Pro Bowl and All-Pro guys that went top 10. So I think the Broncos are looking at it as the guy we get at 20 versus the guy we get at, say, 25, 26, 27 is not really different at all. In fact, there are going to be people that prefer the guy that got taken at 26 over the guy that got taken at 20. So if we can move back, get the same player possibly, or the same quality of player, and add an extra third-round draft pick or a future draft pick, that's a win-win. Now, it's not like Sean Payton to trade back. He never did it in New Orleans. He traded up a bunch. So that's a little bit of, a not traditional thing for him to do. So foreign water, uncharted waters for him. But I think Denver is looking to trade back, and they are letting Adam Schefter broadcast it, BBC style in the 40s. We are open for sale. Who would like the number 20 overall draft pick? Now, teams sitting behind the Broncos that are looking for a quarterback could become desperate because the Steelers at 21, right behind Denver, have been rumored to be looking at quarterbacks. A lot of people think they could go with like a Shedeur Sanders or a Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, since Aaron Rodgers has them in this never-ending holding pattern. And he said on the Pat McAfee show earlier or last week that he is, debating retirement, and that's a possibility for him. So for any team like, say, the Browns or the Giants, who lead off round 2 of the draft, that are looking to get a quarterback in round 1 in a possible trading back to where the Rams or the Vikings are at 24 and 26 may not be enough. And so now Denver can get even more out of those teams, trade from 20 to 33 or 20 to 34 and get possibly a future first-round draft pick. You fall back 10, 11, 12, 13 spots, and that might cost you a future first, or at the very least, a second and a third. So the Broncos could look at it as, hey, the guy we're going to get, which we're going to talk about in a second here, at 20, he may be there at 33 because we really want to go running back, and there's not a lot of teams in the 20s looking at running back. And if he's not there, the running backs are so close in ranking that this could be a better outcome with more draft picks. Now, let's talk about who Denver could be targeting in round 1, wherever that may be. But quick reminder, we're going to be live on the channel for the first round of the NFL draft and day 2 as well. So click that subscribe button down below and join us in a matter of hours for round 1 of the 2025 NFL draft. Now, looking at pick number 20, and more importantly, just the target in general, I'm going to throw a name at you that's starting to get a lot of traction, and that is Ohio State running back TreVeyon Henderson. Omarion Hampton from UNC has been the routine mock pick for Denver in round 1. However, as we get closer to the draft, I've got people like Zach Stevens from DNVR, Benjamin Albright from KOA putting out a lot of TreVeyon Henderson smoke. So let's get to know Henderson a little bit, and then I'll tell you whether or not I feel like this is smoke or this is going to be fire. Henderson was an incredible player in high school coming out of Virginia. He was the Virginia Gatorade player of his class. He was a 4-year starter for the Buckeyes. He had some injuries in his sophomore and junior season. Then he splits the backfield with Quinshon Judkins, an Ole Miss transfer, for his senior year, which I think showed a lot of maturity from Henderson. He saw this. I mean, I don't think they probably ran it by him, but he looked at this as an opportunity for the team to get better. And so that's a team-first type of mentality and not me, I want more touches to help my draft stock. And it worked out pretty well for Henderson. They won a national championship. But the thing you got to know about Henderson is he's a bit more of a home run type guy versus Hampton, who's a little bit more of a bowling ball type back. But I don't want you guys to think with bowling ball he's like big but slow. Henderson's still fast, but Henderson's got a little bit better speed, a little bit better burst, a little bit better long speed in the open field. I mean, he had 22% of his carries last year go for 10 or more yards. That was 3rd in college football. So with that, the Dane Brugler kind of breakdown on him is overall he's not necessarily viewed as a bell cow back, which, listen, that kind of fits what Peyton has done in New Orleans, at least. He didn't take Alvin Kamara and make him a bell cow back. He split carries early on with Mark Ingram, and then once Ingram left the Big Easy, Kamara had a larger role. But Sean Payton, you go back to Reggie Bush, remember like Pierre Thomas, like these running backs always worked in committees for him. And if you go all the way back to January, Sean Payton said we're probably not going to go with a bell cow back type of backfield. So this would fit Sean Payton's MO, and Henderson, I think, could work in that system quite nicely. I feel like Henderson and Judkins have seen their draft stock just dip a little bit because neither one had a ton of production in 2024. I'm not going to hold that against them. They split carries. If they were in a system where they got over 200 carries, then they would have numbers right there with Omarion Hampton and Caleb Johnson from Iowa. So I'm not opposed to a Henderson pick. I think I like the Hampton pick more. To me, it's a don't overthink it type of situation. Hampton's got awesome size and speed and aggression and just pure physicality and violence to his game. I like that pick a lot. I think he's got higher receiving upside than what people give him credit for. So if it were me, I would go with Omarion Hampton or Caleb Johnson. But Henderson, I don't think is a bad pick at all. And if you move back in round 1 and you get Henderson, and then you go into day 2 of the draft with 2 seconds and a third, or a second and 2 thirds, and you add like a 4th or 5th, man, I might like that combination more than just Hampton at 20 and 1 second rounder, 1 third rounder. Because to me, this is a draft where the guys that go 1 through 15, they're not going to pop out. They're not going to stand out to me when we look back in a few years. I think this is a draft where you want to be picking 15 to 30 because the guy from 15 to the guy to the 30 is not very different. So you're not being penalized for having a good record last year and picking later in the first. You're still getting as good of a player that went 10 spots earlier. So if you can get the same quality guy at 20 that you could get at 30 and add more draft capital, I'm on board. All right, that's going to do it for us on our at-home edition. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. We are going to be live, like I said, in a little bit, so make sure you come back. And if you're still watching, drop a DEN for me in the comment section so I know who the end of the at-home video crew is.